So I'm really excited to share with you how to actually make the wrap bracelet. As you can see here, it's quite long. Usually a wrap bracelet is 21 inches plus. And so it's the type of bracelet that will wrap around your wrist multiple times. With this particular wrap, I used a check glass bead, and it's in a bicone type of shape. And what I wanted to show you was how you can use a leather cord and some semi-precious gemstones. And all of this is being done on the original Beadalon Jewel Loom, which I'm so excited about. It really just shows you what a powerhouse of a loom the Jewel Loom is. So this loom has already been warped, and I will definitely make sure that you have the link to that video on how to warp your loom. And as you can tell, I've already done the beading on the top of the loom. Now, I ended up way down here, so I really took advantage of the entire, just about 10 inches or so. Let's do a quick measure for you. I always like to have a sewing tape measure tape around, and oh, actually it's 10.5 inches that I was able to bead. So then basically we would need another 10 inches if we were going to make a 21-inch long wrapped bracelet. So what we need to do right now is I want to secure the needle and thread, which, by the way, let me show you what I'm using. I'm using Wildfire. So this is the Wildfire green. It's the 0.006. And this is the one that I like to use most. And this is my Jewel Loom needle. It's extra long, which I really enjoy. You can use a different needle if you like, but this is the one I like. Now, I really, I kind of cut it really close up here because what I was hoping to do, oh, did I do it? So what I want to do is I want to get my needle back through that last bead, but I want it to be under the warps, and I might just, yeah, I was overzealous. I should have stopped with a lighter color bead right here, but I was like, oh, let me just get one more. So anyway, I don't know, let me see for giggles. So again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the bead, I'm trying to get the needle to be under the warp, but I don't think it's going to happen. And the reason why is that this bead is sitting on the grid. So again, I was just kind of a little overzealous. So what I'm going to do is I'll just come down a row and I'll go through this bead, and I'm just trying to anchor the extra thread, which, by the way, I just want to point out a couple things to you. This is my left hand and this is my right hand. The Jewel Loom is in front of my body, and my mat is also right in front of me. So let's just take the needle and thread and we'll just go back and forth just to, yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's like I'm trying to bead on top of the grid, and it's a little challenging. You don't have to do that. I was just being a little wild with my beading there. So I don't want to spend too much time on this because I really want to get to the exciting part where we actually are able to use the Jewel Loom. That's only 10.5 inches of beading space, and turn it into 21 inches. So let's just go ahead and we'll bring the needle up right here, and I'm going to go through the loop, and I'm just making a knot. Okay, and then I am going to cut it, and I'll come back with my Wildfire burner and I'll get really close with that. But when we're just kind of going through things, I'm just going to nip it right there. Okay, so what we have to do, this is the top, of my loom, of my bracelet. And we're going to turn this over, and you'll learn all about this taped process when you watch the first video. And we're just unwinding the leather. So this is a leather, and we're just going to unwind. I want to really show you what's happening here. So here's the wrap, right? And here's that loop, and we've got to bring that up now. We got to bring it up to, let's see, what would we call that? We just got to bring it up to the button that's closest to your body, all right? And we're only skipping a couple of grooves. This bead is a little bit smaller, so we don't need to skip but maybe 2 or 3 grooves. And then I'm going to turn this over, and we're just going to focus on being in the center of our loom. And I could see that I've got to adjust this a little bit. So you want to make sure all of this is nice and even, and I think we did a little crisscrossy. So let's bring this back so you can see what's going on this end as well. Whoops, too many. Okay, perfect. All right, and so now what we're gonna do is, you see this was that original piece that I just beaded, and we've got to secure it to the back side here. So we're just gonna get our tape again. We might need a little bit more. So by all means, you could use one of the larger looms, like the large Wisdom Warrior or the large Sun Weaver. But I really was inspired by a jewel loom customer to be inspired and challenged to do it on the original jewel loom, which if you're not ready to advance into a bigger loom, to a more, you know, that's an investment type of loom, then this is perfect, okay? So what I would say is just remember that you have glass beads back here. So you're not gonna, you don't wanna like smush the loom into your work surface. All right, so we're just gonna come over here, and it is gonna be a little, you know, it's gonna, you know, kind of tilt or go back and forth a little bit. So you're just gonna have to learn how to maneuver the loom when you're dealing with this being on the back. It's not like a huge deal, so I don't want you to overthink it. I am going to really quick here, just want to, yeah, create a little knot. Okay, so I have a new needle and thread. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I might have enough on that original needle, but I cut another yard over here, so I think this should be plenty to hopefully get down, and off we go. All right, so what we're going to do, and I just want to make sure we have a good camera spot here. I want to go ahead and find the end. Well, I could do a couple of things. Let me see. I could, because I got to get back over here on the left side. So I'm going to come through the left side of that second bead, and then I'm just going to pull. Okay, and I want to leave a tail, and then I'm going to come through the next bead on the right side here. Oh, where is your, come on, little guy. I know you have a whole, okay, there you go. And then we'll go ahead and pull that. And now we're in business. Okay, so I'm over here on the left side of my loom, and I'm going to come under, and I'm just going to start to pick up my beads. And you can follow a pattern or not. Again, this is a multi-strand gemstone, multi-gemstone strand of beads. So they're about, I want to say they're closer to a 5 millimeter, and they're round, and they've had a hole drilled. So they're gorgeous. You know, you've got some lapis and some amethyst and some quartz. I mean, there's just several different types of gemstones. And this is where, you know, this is where, depending on the type of product you're using, if you're making these to sell, you can definitely charge more because your stones are going to cost you more and you're going to have a higher ticket item. So again, I've been trying to follow a little bit of a sequence so that my colors are spread out. And you could certainly work on, you know, how you want all your, if you do use like a multi-strand, you could work on that prior to beading. So let's see. Yeah, it's so much fun. So again, we're just going back and forth. I think the great thing about using the original Jewel Loom is that it empowers you to really make a very high quality project, a very high quality piece of jewelry. And, you know, you don't have to, if you're not ready, you don't have to invest a lot of money yet. But hopefully you sell lots of wraps and then you'll be able to grow into a bigger loom. But I do love being empowered by my Jewel Loom. She is quite the loom. So you can see, like, I'm just balancing the loom because again, we've got like this chunky section of beads back there, so it's not necessarily laying flat. Oh, and by the way, just another, I would have mentioned this in the previous video, again, that I'm going to tag for you. Make sure you leave your metal rod in, okay? The reason being is that we're all taped up, right? So we need all the security we can have to keep our warp. And so we're going to leave our metal rod in case you were just sitting there following me thinking, Jules always tells us to take our metal rod out. What is she doing? So that is why. And again, this is a real leather cord. It's 1 millimeter. You can certainly work with a faux leather cord. You know, if you prefer, you could work with a hemp cord. You could, I will tell you that leather cord that is natural in color is going to be very temperamental. It's very, you have to be careful not to pull it too hard or it will break. When you have a leather cord that's colored like this is a turquoise, it seems to be more durable. And I'm sure that's because the process of coloring versus a natural piece of leather is just going to have like more sturdiness to it. All right, I think we're ready for a lapis. This is a little baby lapis. Look how cute. Little baby, where are you at? Little baby lapis bead. I love these strands. They're really a lot of fun to work with. Okay. Oh, he was a little smaller. That's funny. Well, gemstones. Gemstones. All right, what color haven't I? Let's see, I think I could do one of these. So my goal is to just bead all the way down to the end here. And then I'll be taking the piece off of the loom and adding a really fun button. I decided to go with one of my wood buttons that's an owl. And I'll have to show it to you here. So let's see, pretty quartz. Actually, that one, and that might just be I love when quartz is kind of dirty looking. I've had some quartz crystal pieces that are just really fun because they're not like really white, but they've got like that, just that kind of dirty, shabby, we'll call it shabby. They've got like a shabby hue to them. Okay. So basically you're just constantly going back and forth, right? It's just like how we would, you know, do any other beading project on a loom. And so we're just popping that up, and then I'm going back through the hole. And then you could see how my hands are always working to make sure that everything is nice and, you know, uniformed, and that there's no excess wildfire. Yeah, we got some, you know, a little shadow there, a little bead shadow. So needle and thread are in the left hand right here. I'm pointing to it, and it comes under the warps, transfers over to my right hand, and then I'm going to pick up a bead. So let's see, once again, this is the hardest part, picking out which bead you want to pick up. And then I'm just going to let that fall. And then I take my pointer finger and I help to bring it up and in between. Now, a couple of these beads are smaller than the others, but they all were on the same strand. So just keep that in mind, because that does happen. And so if you don't like that, you might want to go through your beads and through your gemstone beads and separate or not use those. I don't have an issue with it. I think it just adds more personality. Okay, and let's see, what do we got? I know there's this one. Did I already use it all? I don't even, it's like a, well, that's cool. Yeah, there's just all kinds of different stones. Yeah, this one was a little bit smaller. So you can see how quickly I was able to, you know, to go. So once you get your rhythm, once, you know, you have your beads organized, yeah, I was able to do a bracelet in under an hour. You know, I would give myself a good hour. So you have to think about your hourly rate, and then your materials costs. And then, you know, a lot of it too is about the area that you're in. You know, every community, every county and a state can be different. Every state from state could be different. Like, it just, you need to know your clientele, right? But you want to pay yourself correctly. So I would say you need to really think about your hourly rate and the cost of goods. And the cool thing with the jewel loom is that you're not going to have a lot of money invested into your tool. And so, again, once you get your rhythm down, I mean, I have seen these wrap bracelets, just depending on the quality of the materials. I mean, definitely have seen them as much as a, you know, $150, just depending on the size of the gemstones and, you know, the quality of the leather. And so, you know, and you don't, if you're not selling stuff, you know, if you're not making things to sell, then my goodness, what great gifts. Can you even imagine? Like, if this is what you were giving your friends and family for the holidays, oh my gosh, or your favorite teacher at the end of the school year, you know, your girlfriends. I mean, my goodness, these would just be, people would be so incredibly delighted to get this as a gift. All right, where are we getting? We're getting down to like, what is next? Okay, that's cool. Let me see if I can get this guy on my, it's almost like their little hole disappears. Come on, buddy. Where are you? Oh my heck, I know you. Let's see. Oh, I've had a couple of them jump out of my hand already because they're tiny. Let's see, there we go. We'll do that one. You certainly could use bigger beads by all means, you know, and so you just, what you're going to do is you're going to take your bead and you're going to put it up to the grid, right? And then that determines how many grooves you're going to skip, which then determine, you know, where you're going to place your cords. So you definitely have just a lot of options. But again, I think the cool thing was having the challenge of, can a multi-wrap bracelet be made on the Jewel Loom, and then figuring it out and saying, well, yes, yes, it can. All right, so keep chugging along here. And again, I want to say that this is more close to a 5mm, definitely not 6. So it is smaller. So when you have a smaller bead, it can take a little bit longer because you're beading more beads, right? So if you had like big 9x9 squares, jet glass, you know, floral squares, for instance, that probably would go a lot quicker, right? I mean, you could even do like a 2-hole beaded bracelet. I mean, there's so many options. Oops. And because the Jewel Loom is so portable and lightweight, this is a perfect thing that, we got little dancy things going on over here. Let me get this out of the way. Whoops. I was like, what is that noise? It's the, there we go, the earphone thingies. They were like doing a little jingle. All right, so what haven't we done here? Oh, we could do a light purple bead. Let's do that. Okay, bring this up. So you could see I've got like, I don't know what, 4 inches or something left to do. And okay, I still want to get that guy and I cannot see. Come on, buddy, I'm gonna get you. Ah, there we go. There we go. Yes. Do we talk to our beads? Yes, we talk to our beads. Our little bead buddies. Okay, so I feel like I could do like this dark blue. This is gorgeous. So it's a real repetitive motion. You know, I've also done wrap bracelets where I have warped the loom to accommodate different styles and sizes and shapes of beads. So you can really take this. Ooh, that's a tiger's eye. Let me got all excited. I love me a tiger's eye. Super cool. What was I saying? See, I got all excited by a bead. Doesn't take much with me. What was I saying? Okay, yes, you can set up your warps to accommodate different size and styled beads, and really have quite the wrap bracelet. And these are always fun to layer. Like I like to wear a wrap with another bracelet. So, okay, where are we at? Maybe something like this guy. I think we could do this guy. Come on, this is like a rose quartz. It's just the funniest thing trying to find that little hole. And we'll come in and get a little, that's a little amber or citrine. I mean, there are so many. I know somebody's yelling back at the camera right now, telling me what it is. All right, looks like we could do a purple. Like an amethyst. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know if I mentioned how many strands. So I use 2 strands. I'll show you what the strand looks like and the length of it, so that if you want to try to find, and this is from my, you know, I get a lot from a company called Dakota Stones, and I do believe that, you know, it's a very popular brand within the jewelry making industry, and so, you know, with that name, you know that these are very, very high quality gemstone beads. And I feel like we could do a little dark something. What's that? What's going on here? Come on. Oh, I have to laugh because it just cracks me up. I know there's a, there we go. I know there's a hole. And just going back in. Coming under. And is it time for a blue? Yeah, let's get one of this little lapis guy here. Yep, almost there. Okay, what do we need now? Maybe like a green. My jewel loom is dancing all off of the screen, out of the screen. It's excited to be finished. Coming to a home stretch here. And let's see, we could go for and okay. I feel like, let's see, is there well, that would be fine. That's pretty. I mean, for little beads, this is going rather fast. So I think you could probably imagine then how quickly you could maybe get one done with bigger beads, because a bigger bead's gonna take up more space. But I feel like these little guys are definitely tootling along. Okay, I don't think I've done like a really light colored. What do we got going on here? Home stretch, home stretch. What do we, how many, want to guess? What, 3 or 4, right? 3 or 4 more beads. Oh, purple? I don't know, somebody just screamed that, but that's what I got the message. Let's do a purple one. Obviously too, if you're doing a single color wrap, it's gonna be most easy, right? Like I showed the pink one. That went really quick because I didn't have to make choices. I just picked up the beads, which is fine. Like, it's totally pretty, and you know, I could wear another bracelet with it and get like my color, get some more color. So, oh, it looks like maybe 2 more. Oh, sugar. Okay, this is gorgeous. Let's use this guy. Come on. I know you got there. Oh, I almost had it. Where'd you go? There you go. They're feisty. Okay, so getting this one up and under there. And I'm just going to stretch my needle out a little bit. And I know we can do at least one more. What's going to be our, let's see. I guess we could do another blue. And then we'll see if we have room for another bead. You know, this, oh, that's a little guy. Those little ones are hysterical. That's so funny. Okay, well, now I can definitely get another one in. Okay, final color, final color. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, this guy is super cool. Let's put that one up in there. Hopefully I can get it in there. Yep, perfect. Yeah, okay, fantastic. So, yeah, that went really quick. I think that was less than a half an hour. So now we've got, see, look at, now we've got another, right? Another section. And let's see if I can't do what I wanted to do originally. I want to make sure. So I like to take the needle and come under. If I can find the stinking, where you at? There you are, right? I don't want to break my needle though. Okay, so I'm under the warps. I'm going back through the hole and I'm going under the warps. And this is just a little thing that I like to do. It's, oops, except for, it just is a way to anchor the last bead in. And then I'll go back through the top. Okay, oh, I don't want to go through my leather. Okay, hold on. Let me get positioned correctly. It's like I'm trying to stand on my head, chew gum, and get the needle through this bead. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Okay. Oh, I don't want to. Okay, perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sneak up in here. Oops, and come back through this loop. And I'm just going to do it one more time for giggles. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to cut this, but then I'm going to come back with my wildfire burner and get a lot closer. I just don't want to screw up. That would not be good. Okay, let's get our scooper. And so there's still quite a few beads if you wanted to do like matching earrings. You know, that's a lot left. So I'm going to put these to the side, and then I do want to show you the string again. So let me measure that for us, and because they sometimes are sold in lengths. So okay, what is that looking like? 15 inches, about 15 inches long, this strand. So I use 2 of those. And again, this is about a 5 millimeter bead. All right, so we'll put that to the side, put all of this other stuff to the side. We're gonna turn this over and very carefully, whoops, take our painter's tape off. This is painter's tape. Typically comes in a blue. You don't want to use like duct tape or anything. Okay. And then very carefully, we're just going to get that off. Put the jewel loom to the side. It looks like I got a long one here. All right, so now we have our 2 ends. Okay. And what I want to do with one end, well, you know what? I'm going to see if I can't. Okay, let's just, I got a good, okay. I'll do it if I could see it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do this and think you can see what you're doing, because then it's not going to work out. Things are not going to end well. So, whew, that got right back in my, my throat. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm just creating like a little new loop knot. This colored leather is a little bit more shiny, so it's a little harder to. Now I really want to make sure that I get this knot right. I want to get that as close and as tight and snug to the end as I can. Okay. Now, you can certainly use like a slip knot technique. I'm just going to trim these. Again, I'm going to do this when I can open up the door and not have that come back into my face. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we need to definitely clean that. And then I'm just stretching, making sure that's all nice and even. And so on this end, we're going to put the owl. I decided to use the little owl button. I just thought with the gemstones and all the colors. And so I brought in my pencils, my colored pencils. These have been really good for me. Like, I really like these. I do need a sharpener. I've used them so much. It's time for a sharpener. So what we're going to do here, again, I like to come over here and do a knot. Whoops. But I'd like to keep my finger. Okay, so we're just going to, again, you know, you can see like one, there we go. One of the, yeah, we're going to come in and we're going to clean up all those little guys with the burner. Make little like burned knots, and not really knots, they're just like little, they kind of disappear once you do that. All right, so now I'm going to take the, coming from the back side of the button, and then we'll go down his other little belly, there. Now, when we did this with the with the hemp, it moved very easily. With the leather, it doesn't seem to want to glide, so I'm going to have to go all the way down. I could, in other words, I could pull it and it would, but it's being a little bit more. Okay, so I'm just going to come down like that. No big deal. No big deal. I just have to approach it differently. And then this one is coming, this one's coming this way. And yeah, so that's going to work out just fine. Okay, perfect. Awesome sauce. Cool. Oh, it's so cute. All right, so now what we can do, I'm going to do another one of these knots. And just want to get that as close to the back button as possible. Okay. And so now I did bring in some, I brought in the guns. I brought in the big ones, right? The big guys, the big guys here. I was trying to think, like, would any of these, I mean, it's hard because I know these are gemstones and I know this is not. Let me see what I got in this box. I was just thinking, like, you know, you could, if you wanted to, like, slide some beads up in here. Let me see what I got going on. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, we could do, you know, like that, right? So it's like you could have like a finished, and then what's going on in my box of tricks over here. I don't know. Again, I don't want to take away from the gemstone. So this is a little iffy. I don't know if I'm going to be if I want to do that. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so that's an idea though. It could work for you. It may not. All right, so with that, I'm just gonna, now I'm gonna leave those. I'm gonna leave those because if I do come across something that I feel works, because I have like a lot of gemstones in another bag, you know, maybe I'll find something that might work. So let me get my wrist in here and let's see what we got going on. I'm gonna hold that. And so I have a 6-inch wrist. Look at how pretty that is. All right, just gonna get that up and over there. And then my loop. And oh, I was doing so good. Okay. And then my owl. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, so I'm gonna think about, you know, what maybe I could do to that. Maybe macrame it, maybe, yeah, I'm gonna think about that. But check it out. So dainty, so precious. Again, this was another one that I had made with a little bit of a bigger bead, and you could certainly wrap these around each other. So yeah, so I have a 6-inch wrist, and this has gone around it 3 times. So if your wrist is a larger size, then you might have like 2 layers. If you have a bigger loom, then you know you can bead all the way up to 25 inches. So that's kind of the difference in using the jewel loom versus using one of the bigger looms that has a bigger beading base. But so easy, right? And so much fun. I mean, my goodness, the possibilities are just endless with the beads and the material and the buttons and the ending, and you know, it's just so cool. And I'm so proud of my jewel loom. I'm so proud of it. So proud that we can do really cool stuff like a beaded wrapped bracelet with gemstones. Very, very cool, right? Very nice. Okay, don't forget, I'm going to have the end screen. It's called an end screen. It's going to pop up. It's going to tell you what to watch next. And so that is going to be the video where I show you how to warp your jewel loom. And I also want to mention that I have a newsletter. And so when you sign up for the newsletter, you get 3 free seed bead patterns and a code to save 15% off your first purchase, which for you might be a jewel loom, right? Maybe you don't have one yet. And so, yeah, so like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and show your love. And please leave your comments. Ask me questions. I totally answer. And I love that. I really love helping you and I love serving you. And I hope that this empowered you, and I can't wait to see what you make.